Alright, we are officially live here. I am just going to go ahead and share this over here. Still getting used to the fact that I'm using my personal computer that is a MacBook and not my work computer, but I just realized did not put a thumbnail on this one, so it will literally be whatever and we'll live with it. So yeah, what we got going on over here is we have updated the assistant in order to show us a lot more than we had before. As we see, we're gonna enter one of our last two entries here in the $6 Hound Dog drafts. As a reminder, this is a 4 out of the 12 teams will advance in the first 14 weeks. After that, it'll be put in a group of 5. The best 2 will continue. In week 13, same thing. And in week 17, you will have the final. But really excited to be drafting again. Yeah, it has been a long day for me. I will have to, in the middle of this, grab my laundry. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I don't get a pick in the middle and I get one of these edge picks, even though I really hate picking at the end. But as you can see now in the, I'm gonna turn on the hide taken thing. And over here you can see within your taken the percentage that you have here. And now that I'm realizing that I don't actually have my draft exposures here. So what I want to do is actually get that information updated, because right now my drafts are not gonna look the most accurate by exposure. Yeah, so good thing that these drafts take forever, and what I can show you guys here is that as of now, exposures are just coming in from these pick histories, in which I just downloaded my 21 draft entries. It has found all my pairs, and I can just click save. And you can see that it automatically updates here. I've done 21 total drafts, and basically, as you can tell, the 14% are people that I've taken in 3 drafts. And I may be changing how I weigh these things. 19% is definitely overweight when it comes to any player, so I apologize for all the background noise. I have a very loud family and they are not going away anytime soon, so yeah, usually they're asleep by the time I start streaming. Unfortunately today that is not the case. I also do believe that I'm gonna have to add some more money into my underdog count. I am #broke, which is why I'm making these tools, which is why I'm trying to be out there and drafting with y'all. So yeah, the idea is to see the live integration here with this tool. As I don't have any of Jahmyr Gibbs here, if I do get the first overall pick, you will see me instantaneously take Jahmyr Gibbs. I am working on adding more information when it comes to ADP and other things as well. But as of right now, you can see directly on here whether you have Puka Nacua. You will see your picks come in here, potential stacks, and development pairs. Right now, it's saying my next pick is pick number 2. I also have to fix that feature as well. But I don't know how it's missing out right now because I have developed on the side before creating drafts. The idea here, I will always be streaming when I'm drafting, and we look like we have a full draft here. where we are picking at 2. So hopefully we get the opportunity here to take Gibbs. Hopefully everyone here understands that Bijan is definitely the better player of the two. But I just want to spread out my risks here. And it would be great in this tournament, since I do have Bijan already, if I could get Gibbs and flatten my odds there. But really great to be here drafting with y'all. And by y'all, I mean all 0 of you guys. And yeah. Yeah, I'm so sorry. These guys do not shut the fuck up. Like, this is getting absurd. It is difficult already to live at home. I don't have a mic, and they are just getting louder and louder, and I'm trying to talk over them. And we have to take Bijan here, which I feel like the teenage girl who gets a Lamborghini, who doesn't get her Lamborghini or something. As you see here, does look like it's not taking into account other people's picks, and it's only removing my picks, which is quite annoying. Earlier it was working. Of course, when I go on stream, it does not. But yeah. Now what this also does here is it makes my tournament exposures even stronger when it comes to who I have on my tools. So over here you can see there's a Kenneth Walker 14.3%, which is my idea here. I want this to show up for everyone. It is currently not working in such a way, but yeah, that is the overall gist of it. Currently, okay. I really hate these stupid names that Claude brings out when it's working. But yeah. It also does say I'm picking at 10, which I would have loved here if we could get the second overall pick and the 10th overall pick. So it is counting out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess 6 away. And in this case, where we own 4.8% Jeremiah Love, we will take the double running back stack here. And yeah, what I do want to talk about here with Malik Nabers, I will just highlight Nico Collins. So the idea here of this stream is to also highlight the conversation that is Malik Nabers and every other player that was in the news today. So we'll start off here with Malik Nabers. Obviously, Nabers is this elite level wide receiver. We saw it in his rookie year. We saw it for the 3 weeks that he was out there. The Giants took him with the first round draft capital. He has been electric so far. Would probably have been the rookie of the year in a non-Jaden Daniels, non-Caleb Williams, non-super stack QB draft. But there was a clip of him that goes viral today of him basically hobbling while he's trying to run, And, you know, that's never a good thing. And beyond just that clip of him hobbling, we do see Malik Nabers really just overall his value in the Giants wide receiver room is going down as they add veteran names in Odell Beckham Jr., in Juju Smith-Schuster, and Alex Earl's ex-boyfriend, Braxton Berrios. But yeah, so all these players come in here and they are just generally going to be there to fill in for Malik Nabers while he is undergoing any rehab process. And we see him go off here. Interesting. So he goes off pretty early here, which, damn, we had one viewer for a little bit and they disappeared, but shout out whoever that was. So we see Malik Nabers and Josh Jacobs taking back-to-back now. Still no updates in the Josh Jacobs situation. What I'm now confused about is how this will overall affect the rest of the season for these guys. I don't think that any of these players are really viable in any sort of fantasy. Maybe you can pick them up off the waiver wire for the first couple of weeks in a redraft format, but when you look at your standard formats with where you see Malik Nabers drafted in a BestBall format, he should just be going down your rankings. I don't think that anyone should be drafting a real receiver there. You could look into Darius Slayton being a more appealing receiving option, but Darius Slayton, in my opinion, I think the general broad opinion here, is just not a good receiver and not uber talented. We just take Terry McLaurin in our previous draft, so I would be preferring to fall to Jameson Williams here, who I only have in 5% of these drafts anyway. I'm not a big fan of Colston Loveland and how expensive he is in these drafts. As you can see, I think I have 0% owned of Colston Loveland. Yeah, 0%. And we do get JMO, which is lovely. Again, this is just more going on what I believe, and I could be always wrong about this, but to that one guy who was watching for a little bit at the least, maybe believes in what I have to say. But yeah. And we are back on the clock here. And I do think, yeah, we have 24% Jalen Waddle, and I think I have 0% Devontae, and that's the next thing I guess we can talk about here. The Los Angeles Rams. Oh my god, I was at work today, and I am a huge 49ers fan. It just hurt my soul to see my division rival pick up the greatest defender that really, I mean, you know, credit to Aaron Donald, because Aaron Donald was elite in his own right, but we didn't get to see too many years of Aaron Donald. I don't see, now that, you know, Myles Garrett is on a contender, that he would really be doing that same kind of leaving everyone early. You know, maybe it could happen, but I highly doubt it. But yeah. Oh my god. It's only hiding 8 players, but we do have the part of the extension that I do like here. What I do want to fix here is that we will never need a single QB, even if I draft Josh Allen. General needs are going to be 3. I need to fix the algorithms there, but we do get stacks here where it will explain to us the Bijan Robinson stats. And since we don't have a ranked Michael Penix, because I just don't think that I have any value in ranking those players. Whoever you're taking at the end is just a person that you're taking a shot on, or you personally believe in to a certain extent, or you want to take into a stack. So nobody really interesting there. Looking at the Cardinals here, you have Trey McBride, who obviously we're not going to get, but Jacoby Brissett is the only name here that anyone should be interested in. So that is someone that we could potentially be drafting here. Within the Texans themselves, David Montgomery. But at the end of the day, all of these players are not actually significantly of use to us, just because of the fact that none of these guys are quarterbacks. Obviously, you can always take the bet that if you think that JMO is going to have a great season, it probably will come with a great Jahmyr Gibbs season, because it will probably come with a great offense from there. But yeah, I do want to see here within my rankings. That is pretty interesting. So within my picks, how often have I taken Bijan and Jeremiah Love? Is what I wanted to see, but I guess it's not going to let us do that. What I do want to do is add a drop-down search thing here. But we are on the clock. We currently are in a 2 running back, 1 tight end situation where we could take... none of these quarterbacks look that good to us. And Hurts is off the board. I will take our highest ranked receiver here in Alec Pierce. Don't have too much Alec Pierce, so there's that. Now my concern here is that we're not going to get many quarterbacks on the board on the way back, but don't have too much DK, so let's get DK in this. So now we're kind of overweight here on receiver. We can start looking to do maybe some double quarterback tight end institutions, filling in our running backs. And yeah, I think we've taken 5 straight receivers. Shout out that other person who started watching for a little bit. Definitely getting up there, guys. People want to hear my takes. But yeah, I think that Myles Garrett is an overall good player. A Hall of Fame level player, but is what I mean by good, by the way. And yeah. So it wants me to actually work within the extension. This is the life details. I actually have never worked really with extensions like that, so yeah, I'm just working on doing that. In the meantime, we can talk Brandon AIYUK. Brandon AIYUK is one of the worst NFL players in the world, and yes, I am a 49ers fan, so I will be saying that. Hold up, we're about to be on the clock here. Now, who from KC goes later? Because we could take Xavier Worthy and pretend that he's good at football. How much is my common on guy? And Blake Corum is heavy too. Ooh. These are starting to look brutal. I guess we can take the late quarterbacks here, where we may have to reach on a Stafford and a Goff. I would rather reach here and get Stafford, and what we could do here is look towards the Indiana Jones offense here and get Josh Downs. So we'll do that. Command Option J. Yeah, okay. Now we will, not be getting off. That is quite unfortunate here. I really did think I was going to get Goff. I do not hate doing a 10-pick reach here for Stafford. We would not have gotten somewhat of a quarterback here otherwise. And what we can do, again, we have the elite level receiving back here where we could take any quarterback with him. At this point, we gotta start taking running backs off this board. At this point is also where I get the most scared to take running backs. See, I have 9.5% J.K. Dobbins, and I think that is significantly overweight based on my ability, or my thoughts on his abilities. Jonathan Brooks I actually don't have any of, which is interesting. Sorry about that noise. That was my timer for my laundry. And basically after we make these next picks, I will leave. Can I just copy the object here and go in here? Yeah. We are going to go real quick after this and get our laundry. Jonathan Brooks is a running back who I haven't taken any of, so I'm not against taking any of here. So yeah, we will take Jonathan Brooks, and then this is getting more and more disgusting as we go. This is definitely not the kind of draft I wanted to be doing tonight, but yeah. Don't want to reach too hard on a quarterback here, so we will take Rachaad White. I will be right back. Oof. What a rush, guys. What a rush. This is probably going to be a double quarterback selection here, in which no, it's probably going to be quarterback tight end. I usually don't worry too much about tight end, but yeah, I think we may start having to worry here. Daniel Jones, CJ Stroud, both are names that I'm okay with taking here. And I do think that, which is so weird to say to me still, at this day and age, it may be better to be taking Daniel Jones than it is to be taking CJ Stroud, which said that 2 years ago, you're a complete fucking idiot. And your opinion should be taken off the air. Or whatever it is. But I think we can slam tight ends later if we get both of these. Round out our quarterback selections at CJ Stroud. And we'll see what we get here. Do we get Daniel Jones or do they go? Yes. So they go the Williams. And I get the stack highlight there, obviously, which is beautiful. Lets you know, hey, you're taking someone that will be stacked. Devontae Adams is the benefactor of getting these 2-yard touchdowns from Matthew Stafford, assuming that they are both healthy in their elderly life. That should continue. So I feel confident with how we have our wide receiver and QB room built out. Over here, I want to start slamming some tight ends here. We are very ahead at receiver. Honestly, this might be the strongest receiver room I've ever drafted, and looking back, this might be one of the best teams. And I may have to start rethinking my drafting principles because I think I get scared about the quarterbacks earlier on. I don't think that's necessary because clearly I feel great about this team. Huh. I believe they should be all the same, but we will attempt to do this, but yeah, this is getting very developer of a stream. Might as well just be a coding YouTuber. Ooh, Brendan Strange, TJ Hawkinson. I think Hunter Henry is still ranked as my... So at this point, people are just not showing up, which is really weird. But yeah, we will be taking Hunter Henry. I don't like taking Brendan Strange or TJ Hawkinson, especially considering my TJ Hawkinson. Ooh, I don't have a heavy. What's my Dalton Schultz investment? 9.5. AJ Barner is probably higher. So we will take Brendan Strange to even out our investments here in these tight ends. Yeah. So far, I'm feeling pretty good about this team. So, yeah. We have some time before we get back on the clock here. And yeah, so it is trying its best right now. That is the interesting part about doing these drafts and developing at the same time. It is a lot more work than I thought it would be, but hey, I am an idiot, and I want to be not an idiot, or at least a not broke idiot. So, hopping on Underdog on my phone so I can just deposit some money in here. Wow, that shows up like instantly on my screen. It doesn't show me my removal of money, but it shows me that they know where people get their dopamine boost. So what we're gonna go do here is go back to the extensions, go ahead and do that, and we're gonna hit the page with a reload. But yeah. Ew. So these are unranked players here. But yeah, I'm again not. I don't have any Nicholas Singleton. I have one Gunnar Helm. That is so weird. Anyway. We are about to be on the clock here, and we are just going to turn that off because I think it is very glitchy. And yeah. So this current state, we have crazy pulls here. We could go Gunnar Helm. We have only one of, but I think we just took him in a previous draft within the same tournament. Mike Washington, I only have a few shares of. I have a lot here of Sakurai Branch. Katron Allen is who we're going to go with. And we are done here at running back. We will look into receivers now. Zachariah Branch is still here. Malik Washington, we only have one share of, so I'm willing to take the quote-unquote bet. And I'm getting notifications now about me being on the board, which may be very annoying, but we will just see. And we will be continuing to do this. Sorry y'all, the lady is calling. Hi, I'm streaming. Yeah. Interesting. So I don't see any errors here within the tool itself. It clearly did not copy and paste here. So this is the main thing that has come out. There used to be a place where you could see everything, but I don't know where that has gone. So I'm not really going to be too focused on using that right now. And yeah. Okay, so we are about to head back onto the clock here. Again, we only have, I believe, 2 more picks in this one. We have 1 more pick. At the moment, we have a 3-5-7-2. Honestly, our tight ends are so ass that I will love a 3rd tight end here. What I do love as a value here is Mike Gesicki. I usually actually never end up having to take him. I do not like Terrence Ferguson in the most crowded receiving room ever. And I get that Mike Gesicki is in not much of a different receiving room, but you more often have seen Mike Gesicki 20-point weeks, Mike Gesicki touchdown in comparison to Terrence Ferguson. And I feel significantly more comfortable taking him here. Even though I don't think this person here is going to take Terrence Ferguson ahead of me. They're probably going to take Jacoby Brissett. We do have the stack, but alas, we will be taking our GOAT Mike Gesicki here with our final pick. Overall, this team looks pretty decent. We have no bye conflicts here, which is something I'm also working on developing. Do have the bye conflict here, which doesn't really matter. Obviously, the 2 Indiana receivers, so it was very important that we got Daniel Jones here as our final quarterback. If those 2 were both to have a good week in the same week, we would have that be our... Wow, Shaman takes Joe Mixon here with a Jackson Dart Patrick Mahomes 2-6-7-3. That is the most interesting build I have seen that I have not personally created. But yeah, I'm very scared that this will close, so I will enter this draft right here, and we will be continuing. I think what may be best is to start one of these 20-hour drafts and use them to develop, because I believe that I'll create the best tools in that way. So I reloaded, in the top console. Wow, it is really having me go through it here. So we're just gonna keep listening and doing it. And I believe that it's consistently getting confused here as we develop, but we are waiting on just getting into this next draft. Again, for the person who has just joined, we are doing these underdog drafts. I will be trying to get into at least like 4 a week. Person has left. But yeah, 4 a week is the idea here, where we will ideally be looking towards creating as many teams as possible in order to create as much profit as possible. In order to do that, we're creating an assistant. Yeah, Myles Garrett. It's fucking incredible. I was honestly debating making an actual video about it, but I don't have any infrastructure as a YouTuber anyway, much less as a YouTuber that does fantasy football, or much less as a YouTuber that does football content. Yes, the 4th overall pick. Just real quick, with the assistant open. Oh. So with the 4th overall pick here, should be doing some pretty good stuff. We are more than likely here going to get Puka Nacua. Unfortunately, right when the draft starts is when the extension starts breaking because of my work here. But yeah, we're probably gonna get Puka unless this person has an insane amount of Jamar Chase and they really don't want it, but I would take Jamar Chase in a heartbeat if he falls to me. I do know that we have a lot of Jamar Chase in itself. Yeah, so Puka Nacua is who we're going to be taking in this case. Again, a pick that I'm perfectly fine with. And yeah, I know that they may be like a little bit annoyed here that I am taking 90 hours to make my picks, but Christian McCaffrey goes ahead of Jonathan Taylor and Jackson Smith-Njigba here. So the highly experienced, oh, it's not highly experienced, but the bronze badge motherfucker in this one, really giving it to him. What we're gonna do here is hit the hard reload. I do want to see if my assistant is working better, and it is back. Okay. So we had 14.3%. Obviously that is not updated, but we know some of the players that we just took, so that part shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah. I am confused on why players like Kenneth Walker here are having theirs displayed, especially because if you look within the extension, it actually does say Kenneth Walker the 3rd, because I believe I didn't even know he went by the 3rd. on his jersey. I knew that he was known as like K9, KW3, all that kind of nonsense that those Seahawks fucks talk about. But yeah. So honestly, it's not been bad here. We are going to continue to troubleshoot while on live stream, which is so beautiful. You know, my CS professors would love this. Still getting used to the fact that I am using a MacBook right now. I talked about this in the beginning of the stream, but I am a... Ooh, if Kenneth Walker fell to us with Puka Nakua, that would have been a beautiful start. Instead, what we're going to look more at is Brock Bowers here. Jeremiah Love, who we just took. I know I don't have much George Pickens. I just took Nico. So we're going to take George Pickens here. In this one. And I don't know if I have any Travis Etienne. Yeah, 9.5% Travis Etienne. So I would be very fortunate to get some here. My AJ Brown exposures are pretty low, but I do know that I already have him in one of these. So there's that. Claude is just like a girlfriend. Consistently just keeps asking me, hey, am I doing a good job? Do you love me still? I'm saying that as my girlfriend's on call, but she can't hear me. She doesn't even know that I stream. We're just muted while she does her hair or something. I don't know what she's doing, but for some reason I can't find my fucking Claude. We are on the clock here. We will be taking Travis Etienne here, which I believe is always going to be a solid pick. Travis Etienne obviously has the breakout year last year, working with Trevor Lawrence and all. But yeah. I do not think that we... Yeah, okay. George Pickens, Travis Etienne, Puka Nakua. This is a league winner last year. Which, unfortunately, I cannot take this team and put it in those big dog, I think they're called, or whatever the hell they're called, drafts. But So just looking here at page code, where we're gonna go and try to copy some of that. Anyway, so we are back on the clock here. We do not have the greatest running back selection here. In this case, I don't have any Mike Evans, so I will take him and just take the running back that falls to us here. I also don't believe that we have a lot of DeAndre Swift. Yeah, with his single share. May be important to diversify our shares here on DeAndre Swift. Yeah. In this case, I do like really slamming running backs through these next 4 picks. And the main reason you do that, again, you never want to fall behind at any position, especially in this part of the this part of the draft. And currently we are looking like we're about to fall behind. Pick 52, we'll see who we get. I do not like that David Montgomery goes off here. I do think that the team at 3 has 3 running backs and they will chill. But then again, people never really chill that hard, so yeah. Okay. And we lose DeAndre Swift here, so I don't hate going Bucky. I do think that a lot of his stuff is a scare. We don't have any Bucky in this draft, so I don't hate the idea of just taking some Bucky shares here. We're just gonna quickly reload our extension, hit the hard reloads, and yeah. So there we go. Oh, wait. So if I scroll too fast, it takes time to populate. Other than Devontae Adams, who we don't have any of technically, because I never updated it. But yes, it is here. It is working. Great. Okay, and now it will strip out our debugs, and this is awesome. I do think that it is a little interesting that it's going to keep updating like that. But for now, as a developer, you always do love to see things going forward and moving. So this is the most important thing here, is looking at your exposures when you're on these. And right now, more so, we have the ability to do that. So what we will do next is probably develop how we manage these picks. And yeah. And by that I mean the target builds. It will be pretty simple to do that. Yeah, okay. I was just making sure there's nothing in the chat. I'm a huge Tom Grossi fan, and Grossi was just in SF, and I wasn't able to go, and I'm super pissed about it. Super pissed about it. It actually does suck. My girlfriend is weirdly staring at me, so I don't know what she's asking. We don't have the names that I would like here. I would like to get some Baker in here, so why don't we go ahead and take some Brian Thomas here. Oh, he doesn't go with our Jags. It still is going to be weird to me seeing the differences in some players, and what the hell was that? I think I might need to quit my... I really hope that was in my Streamlabs. There we go. Whoops. Just totally leaked my text with my girlfriend. Awesome, and the stack highlight shows up. So, and that's actually very beautiful here, because that tells us that we can just take Dak Prescott here, who we do not have a too high amount of here. It is not a crazy reach. We would be taking him 3 picks over ADP. Now this is the kind of stuff that I was looking at, and the idea here is to really give you the standard best ball extensions that you see other creators and other people offer you at a cheaper price and with some agentic features, because I do believe that my level of development can be stronger than the average human beings. Anyway, yeah, so now that we're on the clock, super simple. She just flipped me off on the stream. Yeah. So we take Dak Prescott here. I don't know if you heard her. She's claiming she didn't flip me off. And yeah. What we will do now here is update our stuff here. Now that we have taken Dak, I would have loved a Trevor Lawrence, and if he somehow falls to us, that would be elite. Instead, we will see. Yeah. The next step here is to do the reverse stacks. For instance, if we see a... we're not going to get Trevor Lawrence here. So I will look into getting more into a... I really don't want Stafford. I have so much Stafford. It's fucking insane. 28 players hidden. Which is not bad. It's getting better. Those are all names that are definitely gone. But let's see what happens when we reload here. Hopefully our working stuff is still working. Yes, it is. And it is not working over here. We will get to that later, honestly. I just came up with a brilliant idea of starting a 20-hour draft, which I'm sure is not that brilliant and has been used a bunch, but yeah. So we'll be getting into one of those. At this point, Rico Daddle goes, and we kind of need some running back depth here. So it may be time to finally buy into some Kyle Monangai again. Then we can take a look at our quarterback options here. Tyler Shough and I don't have any Baker, so Baker is really who I want here. And I really don't think we're going to get him. And I don't think that there's any point in reaching for Baker here. Because that is a crazy reach. Just don't think we're in the position to get him, which is unfortunate, but game is the game. The game is the game is the game is the game. So we just took Joshua Downs in one of these. We have Jacoby Myers shares. We don't have a lot of Ricky Pearsall. And if Blake Corum falls, you do know here I am the biggest lover of Blake Corum in the world. Thank God. Because that would have been scary. I have Mike Evans here, so I can just take Purdy, who I somehow don't have any of. I think it's because I haven't taken any McCaffrey yet. I've never been in the position to take a McCaffrey. So yeah, we're just gonna take Brock Purdy here. And oh my God, it's working. Ricky Pearsall shows up as a stack. George Kittle shows up as a stack, and George Kittle is probably the name that we are gonna go for here if we do get Baker. Do not get Baker somehow. If we do get Baker, we can just kill it at quarterback and continue onwards. We could probably get both. I need to stop fucking talking. That is an insane snipe. Are we serious? Wow. That is really brutal. Baker does fall because of that. And Ricky Pearsall is free falling right now. His ADP being 101.3. He should be going in the next couple of picks, but if he doesn't go, then he could be my secondary stack here to go along with Purdy, and we may have to hold back on taking Baker. Especially because Baker doesn't mean too much here. Again, Baker's a great player. I think Baker has the ability to give you great weeks. Oh yeah, we're definitely getting Baker. Wandale Robinson. Jonathan Brooks. This is one of the most interesting teams I've ever seen. Or the most interesting drafts I've ever seen. Now, again, when you do these lower level or lower buy-in drafts, you will see a lot of crazy people do some crazy things. But yeah. Yeah, so Ricky Pearsall had gone. I really hope he takes. Oh, he doesn't. There's no way that Baker goes here. So I will take the risk with taking Jake Ferg over Baker. And if Baker goes, then it was a horrible gamble. But what can I say? I'm a gambling man. Okay, that's one. There's no way this guy takes a QB at all. And I don't think this guy takes two. I don't think any of these people are taking two QBs at this point in the draft. I would have gotten Jake Ferguson anyway too. So that was a really stupid move. Yeah, so part of this is I'm not a expert. I'm not a self-proclaimed expert either. So if you are drafting based on what I'm doing, yeah, don't listen to that. My rankings, though, I will tell you I know how to rank players. But my draft decisions in a moment like this, you can see some flaws. We really hope he takes Tyler Shuck here. Yes. Even though ETN is more of a receiving back here, it's just because of my low exposure here. And now that we are done drafting quarterback, I would very much love to focus up here. No Casey Concepcion, which is really strange because I did think that I was pretty high up on him. We will look at who comes back to us here. Yeah, randomly, this is my most liked or like viewed tweet in a while, which is really interesting. But yeah, I'm just gonna copy the link because I think my girlfriend is a little confused on what I'm doing, and yeah. Okay, so texted back, but let's see here. The tool is loading, which is beautiful. Yeah, once again, do these streams because I'm a degenerate who would be drafting at this hour anyway. So, being someone who would be probably getting into these 2 drafts anyways, you know, might as well do something with it. And wow, I did not realize my Keaton Mitchell exposures were that high. That is really concerning. And I am not at all a fan of that. So, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna take I really don't like Travis Hunter here. Let's take Jonah Cole. Let's take Gadsden. And let's see who we can get here. We can get Jalen McMillan, which looks really good here, to stack up with our Baker Mayfield shares. So at this current moment, I am all things that I hate when it comes to these kinds of draft developments, where I am serving the 3-3-4-2 basically balanced across the line. I generally would like to be heavily exposed into my running backs and receivers before we get into these later rounds, but fortunately, what do people say? Something about some cookie crumbling. But yeah, fuck that. Let's take a look at Jalen McMillan. He is a pretty talented receiver, and he has a lot of upside potential here. Yeah. Juwan Johnson, who might be my favorite player based on his ADP, is no longer going to be available for me, which does suck. But at the end of the day, I need running backs and receivers. We're going to probably end up taking in this draft a total of 5 running backs because my running back 3 is Kyle Monungai, so not a very strong running back room at all, a very strong receiver room, so we can live with less receivers here. Taking 5 or 6 overall receivers. We already have the 3 quarterbacks. We're probably going to take a 3rd tight end here as well. Dejon Stribling shows up. Yeah. Dejon Stribling is a very interesting option here for us. Again, rookie receiver with 2nd round draft capital, but again, this is 49ers draft capital, which means that it basically means fucking nothing. The 49ers don't know how this stuff works, and I can now see my girlfriend is currently watching some of my videos on YouTube, and she's texting me. So yeah, we'll see what she does. I didn't really want to expose myself here to her, but I also felt bad because I feel like she should know what I'm doing. Because I have been live for an hour and a half, and that means I'm not exactly talking to her. So we will see. I don't know if she is currently tuned in, but she definitely could be. Because she's laughing, and she doesn't laugh very often because she's like a cold-hearted bitch. Didn't work. Okay. We may go with the Tajay Spears option here. Yeah, she is watching. The Tajay Spears option here is very solid as well. Ooh, if Woody Marks does fall, though, I will take him. Do I have Nico in this draft? I don't have Nico in this draft. But, okay, yeah. Taking Tajay Spears here is pretty solid as we see people really don't value Tony Pollard. He does have a smaller workload, but he is the younger running back with the higher draft capital in a improving and youthful offense. So looking for that is probably pretty important here. And if Deshaun Stribling somehow makes it back to us, I will take him. As you can see, Ryan Flournoy is a stack here, but I have him in 29% of drafts. I would be super overweight on Ryan Flournoy, but nothing screams to me like a Ryan Flournoy draft. Again, this comes from the games that you don't have CeeDee Lamb, you don't have a George Pickens, so you knock out the top two receivers in that passing offense, and Ryan Flournoy goes. And we see a huge fall here for DeJon Stribling. So when I look into my ADP tools, I guess DeJon Stribling is someone who I'll keep an eye out for. Because, again, second round draft talent. He is definitely a very talented receiver. Came out of Ole Miss. He had some insane catches in that semifinal game during the college football playoffs, but we will see how that continues to go here. DJ Speedy on the clock. The name is beautiful. Jordan James. Fuck. He takes Jordan James as a backup to Christian McCaffrey 40 picks early. Not exactly the smartest play. I think he could have waited, till it came back to him. But, hey, who am I to say anything? I'm an idiot drafting on the internet, so we will see where we go from here. And I'm not sure if that is showing up. But yeah, so we do have AJ Barner coming up here. We're still looking to add another tight end, possibly another running back and receiver here. So just going 1-1-1 would be pretty interesting. Obviously, we catch the faller in DeJon Stribling, and we did miss out on stacking Purdy earlier. So we do get the option with Mike Evans as a secondary receiving target behind Christian McCaffrey, and the fourth layer receiving target projected by volume in DeJon Stribling. We will see where Christian Kirk goes in one of these. I do have Baker, and this is where I can come out and show my Baker stride. So Kate Otten would be great in these. But yeah, I'm actually not too sure where Christian Kirk yeah, Christian Kirk isn't going until the end of the round. He is an older, pretty useless receiver. He didn't do much for the Texans last year, and I don't foresee him doing a lot for the 49ers this year. Ricky Pearsall, I guess, also goes in between these rounds, so this would make Dejon Stribling the 5th option. But being a 49ers fan, I have watched the most Ricky Pearsall, and what I will say is that Ricky Pearsall usually struggles to stay on the field. So we are taking advantage here of those injuries that we are projecting, so should be great. Now, whoops. I didn't do that. It's a little bit more awkward now because could potentially see that. But yeah. Okay, so she did see it. My bad. Anyway. Toy Horton goes here. We need another receiver, probably another running back here to complement. I would like going Emmett Johnson and being like, what if? I think Mike Washington may be the better play here. What if Ashton Genty gets injured this year? Yeah, and that's just to flatten out our exposures here. As you can see, he is by far our least exposed to running back in this, or overall skill player in this position anyway. We are going to be looking receiver here, so towards the end, a lot of ADP doesn't really matter here, but by ADP, we're seeing receivers like Cooper Kupp, Dontavian Wicks, Elijah Surratt, Adonai Mitchell. Now, what you will be seeing in these kind of drafts are people who don't understand that certain things get priced into ADP automatically. For instance, the AJ Brown trade was not official, but it was known to be happening pretty soon. So things like that are priced into how these players are ranked. It goes into account in our rankings as well when we hear kind of news like that, especially the news as big as the Diana Rossini and Mike Rabel scandal. So we will not be reaching here on a player of Dontavian Wicks' caliber, but you may see other people in your drafts doing so. Malachi Fields is a wide receiver who I've taken 0% of in these drafts. He's an interesting name considering no Malik Nabers in the early weeks. Again, when you're taking your 18th round receiver, you're not really expecting them to be plugging it into your lineup as one of the 5 potential receivers that can be in a lineup every week. You're expecting them to come with 1 week where they may round out your lineup. So really hoping that earlier in this season we see some Malachi Fields come out here and project out well. Braylon Allen is another name, but that receiving room is so crowded, and Geno Smith is just not a good quarterback in 2026. So not someone I'm too excited about taking myself, especially considering that we have a huge running back room already. Kayshon Boutte, again, you may see people seeing him as a faller. The AJ Brown trade was basically priced in. Maybe he goes down 1 level, but overall, nothing changes. Marshawn Lloyd is someone that I've been very interested at the end of these drafts because of the Josh Jacobs accusations, where unless you've been living under a rock, Josh Jacobs is currently facing many legal charges for his relationship with Ash Cash. Again, no one really knows what's going on there. We just get a bunch of lawyers speak. Tank Dell is someone I'm very excited about, but I usually will take him on a team that has CJ Stroud. So again, don't see as much value in taking him as I do in taking the potential in Malachi Fields, considering what we learned today with the draft news. And I can tell DJ Speedy is out here drafting James Conner in the hope that he is a part of the trade during Josh Jacobs' saga in order to be the new starting running back in Green Bay. But overall, we are now done with this draft. We can take a look at our teams here. At QB, we have Dak, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield. Again, these are all very solid QBs. Purdy is really the only one that gets that much rushing upside. You do see a little bit with Baker, but Baker's offense, the team, there's just a lot of ifs there where Baker's not as talented of a player to really meet those ifs. Moving on to our running back room, we have Travis Etienne, Bucky Irving, Kyle Monangai, Tyjae Spears, and Mike Washington. I think this is definitely the weakest part of the team. Mainly coming because we took a running back. Our 2 running backs were taken in, let's see, the 3rd and 5th rounds here. So overall, taking running back that late, I'm usually not too big of a fan of. I would at least, if I have taken 2 receivers to start off, like to take the next 2 rounds with 2 running backs, unless I can get the elite quarterback name to pair up with one of my receivers, which in these drafts you're never going to see someone who is going to pair up with Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. So yeah, honestly, maybe could have taken Marshawn Lloyd here, looking back. But I guess we're going to have to play on the idea that we would have 5 receivers in here at all times. And Puka Nacua, automatic plug and play, wins leagues every single season that he's been in the league. George Pickens, again, last year was league winner. In the case of a CD injury, he would be going nuclear. Even with CD on the field, he is generally a good receiver. Mike Evans, just betting on the Kyle Shanahan offense to give him a few slants, get him some cheap points here. Brian Thomas, again, I'm very favorable with his price right now. I do believe that it was more of a sophomore slump where he was really injured during that time and was unable to perform because of that. But yeah. Jalen McMillan just to stack with our Baker. Deshaun Stribling again stacks with Purdy. Malachi Fields, as we talked about towards the end of this draft, in order to hedge Malik Nabers a little bit in this one. Jake Ferguson, Oronde Gadsden, Cade Otton. Again, nothing too special here. We do have Cade Otton to stack, but yeah. So at this point, we have completed within our drafts here. If we take a good look at the Hound Dog, there are barely any entries left. So I'm very glad that we go ahead and finish up here, because I can guarantee you, even if I went and did this tomorrow, there would be no entries left. So yeah, I believe that now, and I guess it's 8 hours per pick and not 24 hours per pick, or 20 hours per pick, but we will probably be getting in those, developing the tool that we have been using throughout these drafts during one of those. And yeah, eventually this tool will make it out for public use, just as we continue to develop and make this tool better. But yeah, currently looking at like some other underdog tournaments that we could potentially do. We've maxed out our Dachshund, our hot Hound Dog. God, it is late. I cannot speak. Not a super flex player. I've said one word correctly tonight. The Big Dog, again, not paying $500 for a draft ever. The Pitbull is again a little bit too expensive for my taste, and here we go. The Puppy 2. this is what I wanted to see. These $5 drafts are how I started. If you want to take a look at my completed drafts here. Within the puppy, we have 14 entries. The rest go into our Hound Dog and Dachshund. So, getting back into the puppy tournament is what I really want to be doing. That is the $5 buy-ins, where you have 12 teams again in each draft. 2 teams will advance through week 14. After that, you'll be placed in a group of 10 other teams, and the best team will advance. If you advance, you'll be placed in a set of 5 other teams, and in the final week, week 17, it will be a 750 seat final. So, yeah. That is all. I think there was like a total of like 6 live viewers through this one, so that was awesome. Again, we will see what I do. Generally speaking, I talk about basketball. We may talk a little bit more about football and the impacts of the Myles Garrett trade, but for now, I need to find a way to make life interesting in the Bay Area, so you will definitely see me again soon. But yeah, that's the end of this one. Thank you for watching.